Ah, the Flamethrower. Such a simplistically brutal device. An item of which fundamentally shapes and spins the class we all know as the Pyro into the flamboyant flaming flamenco that we know today. But not the hat, just the Flamethrower. She brings hot fire, but also takes it away. She protects, but she also attacks. But she also Scooby snack. She throws the flames, and this is the Flamethrower review. Hello and welcome, my dear Firestarters, to the first episode of Ihasnotomato reviews all of the pyro weapons and such trademark. The show where you, I will be taking apart the fundamentals of each of the pyro's weapons episode by episode, explaining and analyzing the mechanics and how usefully they can be applied to the game, as well as little fun facts about the items, as well as giving my own thoughts and opinions on them, of which they will be ranked in this handy dandy doodah graph I have right now. Now first I want to explain that I did in fact have the idea for this series over a year ago, but was extremely patiently waiting for the release of the oh so anticipated Pyro update, on the expected chance that some or all of the weapons would be changed fundamentally from the ground up, only for the Flamethrower to get any really notable changes. Except for you, my love. No, I'd never forget you, darling. Please, don't look at me like that. Darling, No, I know, darling. I can't right now. I'm doing a show! Anyway, as for the order I will be doing this series in, it will be in order of release date for the weapons, starting with the stock, of course, as I predict that the brand new weapons from the Jungle Inferno will likely receive changes in coming updates. But as they stand right now, here are my 5-word reviews of them. Aim true, people get mad. An acquired skill, worth it? It's shit, I hate it. Do it for the meme. But with that out of the way, into the main topic of the show, the Flamethrower. The Flamethrower can come in a slew of variations, all functioning identically to the stock Flamethrower. The variations you see on screen right now will be the ones I will be using in the video. The only exception to this is the Rainblower, of which I will cover in a later video. Now into the meat and potatoes of the Flamethrower. How does it work, and why should I care? Well, dear children, the Flamethrower is the default stock primary for the Pyro and pretty much functions exactly how you might imagine it to. You press down that handy dandy left mouse button and the flames will magically shoot out a short distance from you. Add this to a living being and they will catch fire! Righto! Well, that seems simple enough, except it isn't simple at all, dum-dum. First, let's discuss straight up shooting flames at people. To oversimplify, as you continue to hit people with your flames, they will take more damage. In fact, they actually take a lot of damage really quickly. In fact, they specifically take 6.8 damage per particle, translating to 173.3 health per second from close range, right up in your face, to 4.09 damage per particle, rounding up to 793.3 health per second from further away, or something. What? Basically, you do more damage when you keep hitting them, and you do even more if they are real up close to you. Jeez, all these numbers take a bit of the fun out of it, eh? But that's not all, my ballistic melons. For after you finish showering your rivals with your ruby flame drops, they will in fact continue to stay on fire. The future is now, my lads. Now the Flamethrower handles a bit differently to how it once handled in the times of BJI. In the past, by the mere ignition of an opposing player, they would be lit on fire for a duration of time afterwards, of which their health would continue to drain at 3 health per tick, which translates to 6 health per second, for the duration of 10 seconds, of which they would have to live under the entire duration provided they didn't have any means of early extinguishing. We'll cover that later, bubs. Nowadays, however, Afterburn works slightly differently. Now, the target will stay on fire for a period of time depending on how long you roast that marshmallow. And additionally, it now does 4 damage per tick and does 8 damage per second. The enemy will stay ignited for a minimum of 3 seconds and capping out at the original 10 seconds. Couple this with the spy disguised or invisible and they will also be ignited and partially visible while Afterburn is in effect, but the duration will last a reduced rate, and also has a general 20% less damage resistance. But the amount of time Afterburn affects spies honestly differs greatly depending on the items they're using, and I ain't gonna go into that cause I ain't no dirty spy, man. I'm a gosh dang pyro man, ya hear? Now I could go into details about all the different numbers in between all that, but quite frankly that's boring as hell. And when you're in the midst of battle and you've had enough experience, I think you'll just end up having a sense for it. And look, I'm gonna be honest with you, I could go down a long ass track explaining all the little intricate details about the hitboxes and how the flames work mechanically and all the numbers and all that gosh dang diddly doo dah ding dang nonsense. But I tell you, I've been down that route and quite frankly I find it actually took away from the experience for me. Obsessively thinking about all the technical baloney all the time made me eventually feel the game would be better off looking like this. And at this point, I might as well be playing coolmathsgames.com. Personally, I'd rather just go with the flow and play Team Fortress 2. Not to say I've completely forgotten this stuff, but considering numbers all the time is boring and stressful. Seriously, I find most of this stuff just comes naturally though. Feeling and playing. You will get a sense if someone will die from afterburn or your flamethrower just by playing. We don't need all this technical schlop, and I'm more interested in just experiencing the game the way it was intended. So now let's just jump into a match and see how the flamethrower goes in a real game. To put it in the simplest of layman's terms, the flamethrower does best in close combat. In fact, it's almost useless away from combat, which is kind of the whole crux of the pyro, being close range, you know? Not to say the pyro has zero long range capability, it's just not a focus. But when the pyro hits close, it hits hard. Now typically in a game there is what people describe a phenomenon known as W plus M1, a strategy in which by simply running at an enemy, holding down your mouse one button will almost always result in the pyro's victory. Now there is definitely some truth to this, yes indeed. The pyro does do a ton of damage close up, and if you are unaware of your surroundings or incautious of your corners, you may very well find yourself at the mercy of the pyro. This comes from players refusing to use or acknowledge other weapons in their disposal, in favour of just running at someone while shooting flames. But while I should make it very clear I am not defending this kind of behaviour, there is a fair few counters. Number 1 is range. Seriously, the pyro's main weakness is range. If you are out of range, you automatically have an advantage. Try your best not to enter their range or you will be at a massive disadvantage yourself. Seriously, I know some people will laugh at this very notion, but it is a form of balance. Really, it is. If you aren't in range of the flamethrower, the advantage changes drastically. One could argue the exact opposite scenario exists for the sniper, who excels at far range but is lacking in close range. But that won't stop the occasional cheap kill, now will it? Well, unfortunately, I have news for you. There are a lot, and I mean a lot of ways every class can cheaply kill you. It's nothing new. It just happens. It's part of the game. That's the game of Team Fortress 2 you play. Da, 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 da. Okay, now, moving on.
What about the medic healing thingy?
What's this?
You know, like the one with the how it reduces the healing done?
Oh, yes, right. I should also mention that indeed the flames hold yet another purpose to them, where Afterburn will also reduce a medic's healing and resist shields by 20% for some reason. So, focus the medic if you weren't doing that already, which you should have been because, you know, they're high priority targets. Seriously, why did they add this? I don't quite get it. Oh well, it's a thing, so, you know, that... yeah. To be honest, I never really noticed it, as since being burned by a pyro, I usually have other things on my mind. Like for instance, how fucking fun it is to use the flamethrower. Yeah, crazy statement here, but honestly I think that a lot of what a weapon comes down to is the straight up fun factor. What's the point of using something if it's no fun? And I tell you, this thing is a hell of a blast to use. Never before did I see such a fun flamethrower in any game, and never since really. Even after all these years, I still get thrills mowing through people like a hot knife through butter. Now look, is it perfectly and mechanically sound? No, probably not, as I'm sure many other YouTubers will tell you. But if you know me, I just like to have fun. Yes, you are justified in thinking that it may be broken or unfair or unbalanced, but I still enjoy it nonetheless. And look, it's been a part of TF2 since day one, and people still complain about it to this very day, even after its overhaul. And unfortunately, that criticism will probably never go away, but I'll always enjoy it. And I'd say that just about wraps it up for the flamethrower. It was a fair bit to go through, and I tell you, none of the other items we'll be going through will have that much analyzing. In reality, I barely touched the surface of how this bloody thing works, but yeah, I think I'm done for now. Yeah, alright, how many of you actually believe that? Yes, as I'm sure you're acutely aware, not only does this video have Part 1 in the title, but I'm sure most of you indeed know of the flamethrower's other claim to fame, the air blast, of which is such a big topic that I'll be tackling it in Part 2, with a few other tidbits about the flamethrower and my final ranking as to where it will land on my personal tier list. Anyway, for the time being, I have indeed been Ihasnotomato, you have been an excellent audience, and as always, I will see you all next time in Part 2. Oh hey, while I got you on the horn, Might I perchance interest you, fine sir, in my new drawing channel I just launched yesterday? Or hey, even better than that, my new Patreon, because as we all know, YouTube has a personal vendetta against all of its creators, so it would seriously help me out even if you just donate $1 a month. It would seriously go a long way to helping me out and allowing me to keep on making stuff for you guys. But yeah, please check that out if you are at all interested. Links will all be in the description, and I will see you next time, for real this time. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. Yeah, okay, I'm hanging up.